Hey guys, it's Carl with GuitarBreakdown.com, and today we're going to check out a tune called Moby Dick by Led Zeppelin. This tune is really mostly purposed for setting up a drum solo, but the riff is so cool and so good, quintessential Jimmy Page kind of heavy riff stuff that I thought it was worth talking about here on the old breakdown. So the tuning is a drop D, so tune your low E string or 6th string down to D. The other 5 strings are standard, and get your guitar in tune and get yourself a good heavy sound, and we'll get right to it on the riffs. Okay, so let's check out that first riff, the main riff of the tune. Okay, so that little riff repeats a lot and then gets varied a good bit. So the riff is based around D minor pentatonic, which is really a typical thing for this kind of music, where the riffs would be created out of the pentatonic scale, which has a lot to do with the chord tones, and implies the chord really well, but can be somewhat melodic as well. So anyway, the riff itself starts with a low D, and then jumps up an octave. So 5th fret, 5th string twice, pull off to the 3rd fret of the 5th string. And then it jumps back down to the 6th string and plays 5th fret and 3rd fret. And it actually goes between those 3 times with the rhythm. Real important, make sure you get that rhythm right, so try to match up, play along, get the recording out and soak it in. So that riff happens 4 times to imply that one chord, or the D. The D chord for 4 bars. Typical blues progression, 12-bar blues, the tonic chord would last for the first 4 measures, and then you go to the 4 chord, and this is what happens in Moby Dick. So that riff happens exactly repeated 4 times, and then you go to the 4 chord, which is G, or implied 4 chord, still just a riff, no actual chords being played. The G is implied by playing a low G on the 6th string at the 5th fret. It looks like where you would play an A, but remember we're tuned down. So we have that low G. It jumps up an octave to the 5th fret of the 4th string and does very, very much similar to the first lick. Okay, so the slight differences in it, of course, the strings that it's being played on. So we have G played twice, pull off to the F at the 3rd fret, and then down to the D open. So that actually makes it slightly different, 1 note different than just sequencing the original lick, but turns out to be really cool and guitaristic to do that. So, and then jumps down to B flat at the 1st fret of the 5th string, and then the C at the 3rd fret of the 5th string, and back and forth on those. So that lick again slow. So it happens twice, because the 4 chord in the blues would happen twice before moving on back to the 1 chord in the 7th measure. So measures 1 through 4 would be the 1 chord, measures 5 and 6 are the 4 chord, and measures 7 and 8 we're going to be back to the 1 chords. We play it exactly the same way as we did before. So remember, whenever I say 1 chord, 4 chord, and 5 chord, I'm talking about implying chords, not really playing them. They're just implied by the riff. Okay, so then once we've done that, we're going to go to the 5 chord. We're at that place in the blues. We're going to go to the 5 chord. And in this case, the 5 chord for D is A. So implying that chord is going to be start with an open A, and then go to the 7th fret of the 4th string. It's very similar to the way things were a minute ago in the lick. So let's hear that, the A part of it played by itself. Okay, so that's open A, 7th fret twice, pull off to the 5th fret on the 4th string, and then down to the 7th fret of the 5th string, back up to the A for 2 sort of staccato ones, and the G on the 5th fret, and then to the 7th fret A on the 4th string to end it. So that lick played slow. Okay, then for the 4 chord after the 5 chord, it moves back down to the 3rd position, pretty similar to the way it was a minute ago, except that we start with we don't play the low G. So those repeated hits on the G at the 5th fret of the 4th string, pull off to the F at the 3rd fret, and then the open D. And then a little sort of higher fill type lick. So that's going to be, so the 5th fret, 3rd string, bend up a whole step with the 1st finger. Kind of weird, but that's how he seems to be doing it live. Back down to the regular pitch, the C. So we bend up to a D, back down to C on the 3rd string, 5th fret, and then down that pentatonic scale, D minor pentatonic. So we'll have the 5th, or rather 4th string, 7th fret, down to the 5th fret, the 4th string, and the 3rd fret of the 4th string. So anyway, at the end of the progression after that fill, bars 10, or rather bars 11 and 12, and then we'll have bar 1 of the next time through is the same lick. Bar 2 of the next time through is the 1st fill. Okay, so on that fill, it's just D minor pentatonic there in the 10th position. And what he's doing, he plays like a Chuck Berry lick to start with. So the 3rd string, 12th fret, bend up a whole step, and then play the 10th fret of the 2nd and 1st strings. So, and then one of these where it's sort of a bluesy thing to do, bend the 12th fret, 3rd string up a whole step, and then back down, pull off to the 10th fret, and then quickly down to the 12th fret of the 4th string. So we have, and then the last phrase of it is that. So that's going to be 12th fret, 3rd string, down to the 10th fret, then the 4th string, so 12th fret of that, and then 12th fret again, 10th fret, 12th fret, of all on the 4th string. So and it jumps back up to the 3rd string, 12th fret, 10th fret. So that whole lick real slow.